Hi, and welcome to Australian Gamers Friday Night Podcast. I'm Matt.
I am the youngster.
Tonight we're going to be talking about some rumours of Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14 coming to PSP.
Rumours of the Wii coming out in September.
And LocoRoco. Sony gets in trouble from some unlikely sources.
They get in trouble. Sony doesn't get in trouble.
You know what? It's actually not even that they're in trouble. It's that one guy on a blog
said something,
and everyone's jumping up and down about it. But it's an interesting point that he raised, which is...
What is it? What is this point?
LocoRoco is racist.
Right.
The justification for the LocoRoco
now, just wait 1 second. I know you have a PSP. I don't, and I've seen...
I tried to show you LocoRoco, and you watched a video.
I did, but here's the thing. Like, I watched you play it, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. But since then, I've been bombarded with LocoRoco ads on TV. It's all about the LocoRoco things in the news. Even my MSN has LocoRoco ads on it.
Yeah,
I cannot escape LocoRoco.
You cannot give in. Succumb to the LocoRoco.
No.
Join us.
No. I'll just steal your PSP when you're not looking.
Yes. Well, okay. LocoRoco. For those who don't know it, you control a yellowish orange blob and you move around and you bounce up, and it's all quite...
It's very pretty. It's the kind of thing that you can't... I would have wished that you had some sort of motion sensor thing on the
Yeah,
PSP,
that would be quite cool, but then you'd need to...
Question, whatever happened... Do you remember... I know it's off on a tangent, but that's all our podcasts
That's what we do, yeah.
Do you ever remember that game that was supposed to come to the PSP, or maybe did, the Liquid
No, I know where you're going with it.
Wasn't it supposed to be released with the...
No, it never was. That never existed. That didn't happen. That may be a dream you had, but it didn't exist.
I read an article where they were saying we're going to get a Tilt Technology actual peripheral add-on for the PSP. No?
Nah. You fabricated that.
I didn't fabricate that.
No, you did.
I didn't.
You didn't mean to,
It was your magazine.
You just made stuff up about a whole peripheral that didn't exist, that would only ever be made for one game. How would that happen?
2 games, obviously, because LocoRoco. Yeah, keep going.
Anyway, no, that didn't exist. The game was Mercury. It did come out.
Mercury, that's the one.
Yeah.
And there's a sequel being made to it.
Yes, there is.
Yes. See? 3 games.
Whatever. Anyway.
We're doing our podcast a little later than usual. I think it's in the AM at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
I actually came around to do the podcast and Yug was asleep. So he's on the Red Bull now.
Yay!
And hopefully should be incomprehensible.
Yay for sugar. And guarana. And
taurine.
Taurine.
The taurine's the good stuff. I like that stuff.
It gives me wings.
Like a Libra Fleur. Is it the Libra Fleur that has wings? Now with wings? I don't know anything about sanitary pads, so if there's any girls listening who can inform me about which particular brands of pads have wings...
You know what? If there were any girls listening, they're not anymore.
They're not anymore. No, I don't think women object particularly to ignorance. I think they object to my appearance.
And as do men as well, for that matter.
I'm generally offensive.
Actually, it was interesting on the forums. Jess actually made a post asking any female gamers who read the forums to come forward and talk about their gaming preferences.
Yeah.
And of course, initially, I think Oracle posted first.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oracle and AJ got their girlfriends' opinions, and there was a girl who posted. I'm not sure if it was one of their girlfriends though, or if it was just some other person on the site. But I don't think we actually have any female posters on the forums.
Probably not. There's an awful lot of girls who play games, but there's not an awful lot who participate in online conversation about games. There's a whole other level of gaminess that women don't seem to be that quick to stoop to. So anyway, I was talking about LocoRoco and its racism.
Yes.
The basic argument this particular guy had, I'll link to the... Oh no, I have already. I think. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
The basic argument is that LocoRoco is racist because the bad guys are black. And not only the bad guys black, but the bad guys are black. They have big round white eyes, thick red lips, and kind of dreadlockish hair. Like
so they're
afro-looking hair.
Gollywog-looking
They're
things.
basically gollywog-looking things, and apparently that's just kind of not acceptable.
Are they the bad guys?
Yes, they're the bad guys.
Right.
So,
Yeah, but this comes back to like...
The point is not that it's clearly very racist. The point is that this is a subtle, sort of unconscious racism that people have. I mean, think about it. What black characters do you see in games? They tend to be very stereotypical.
Well, stereotypical in what way?
As in, they're all the same. There's these particular types. Like, how many black characters in fighting games or sports games quite often are just like maniacally grinning, sex-crazed fiends? That's like one of the characters.
Yeah.
And there's the large sergeant-esque.
Sorry, the only one that's
that's
popping to mind, to be honest, black characters in a video game is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, or ethnic characters, or whatever. And
sort of thing. The other option is hoods.
But I guess that's the thing. I mean, in San Andreas, you play a black guy that runs around stealing cars and killing people. In Vice City, you play a white guy running around stealing cars and killing people. Like,
that's why no one's arguing about Vice City. No, we're not making this point about. We're making this point about LocoRoco and why are the baddies black? And look like black men.
What?
Why do they look like gollywogs?
You know what? Then, if they were white, should we complain and bitch about the fact that they're, I don't know, being racist against white people? Or
if they used a particular look that specifically and deliberately mimicked a well-known racial slur, basically. I mean, that whole gollywog thing. I mean, you can't do that. They removed.
All right, so let me get this right. Let me get it straight. There's one guy who posted on our blog that he thinks the game's racist, and everyone's gone nuts.
That's dumbing it down a lot. There was a blog posted that talked about this and said, is it fair to say this is an example of entrenched unconscious social racism that is the sort of thing that we should be more aware of by now?
All right,
and is this and made the point that maybe this is a problem and something we should be looking at.
Let me rephrase that then. Do you think it's a problem? Do you think it's entrenched racism? And do you think
it probably is. It's still a cool game, but I'm not denying the validity of his point.
Okay,
another thing to say is this LocoRoco comes from Japan. It's a Japanese game. The Japanese do not have a large African American population.
Yep.
The whole gollywog thing, the whole all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
The black and white minstrels are actually quite popular there.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah. This is as a sort of kitsch, 40s kind of thing, but that's not necessarily cool everywhere else. So the racism that. Well, racism is probably a hard way to put it, but you're sort of skirting the line.
Yeah.
At what point does making fun of someone's race become racism?
I guess... I don't know, I guess by the sounds of it, it sounds like it could be interpreted as racist in a certain way, but in the same respect, I don't really care all that much. It's not really trying to be racist. I mean...
No, the problem is not that it's trying to be racist. The problem is that it's unconsciously racist. The problem is that the racism is so deeply entrenched that no one even notices it, but it's still there. That doesn't make it alright.
God, there'd be so many subtle references to, that people. It's like conspiracy theorists actually seeing conspiracies in absolutely everything. I mean, you could pick any game at all, and probably pick racist points of any game. So Tetris, for example, it has, I don't know, this shape of block. That means
you're stretching so far, but the difference between the shapes of a block and the fact that all of the baddies are black men with black figures with thick red lips and an afro are very different things. It is a valid point that probably deserves at least a little. I'm not saying I even necessarily agree with it. I think that they started, for example, the fact that it's black is not necessarily the fact to suggest that black is bad, but that is that black people are bad, but that black contrasts with the bright colourfulness. It's a natural thing.
It just all keeps coming back to me to that scene in the movie Chasing Amy, where the guys standing up talking about Black Power, all this kind of stuff, and Jason Lee is getting up and talking about Star Wars, and they're actually... Don't you remember that bit?
I haven't seen the movie. How would I remember that bit?
Oh, well, then it's going to be really frustrating because I can't remember exactly how it goes.
Awesome.
I was hoping you'd be able to finish it off.
Good story.
Really?
Star Wars on a table.
No, it was... Oh, God, no, I'm not even going to start that. That could be touchy. I better not.
Alright. Well, we try to avoid touchy on this particular podcast. But no, I just think that issues, particularly because Japan has such a different racial background and whole racial profile and so on than the US and the West in general. We have a different one as well.
Yep.
They have such a different sensibility. So the sort of things that are acceptable and not even noticed in a Japanese game are going to be noticed not just in the West, but particularly in America, where they're very conscious of that sort of thing.
Okay. Yep, no, fair enough.
And while that might be sort of basically not really noticed, I certainly never thought it while playing the game.
No.
But maybe that's just because I'm racist and I thought it was entirely fair that, these scary black men were coming to get me. It's just like it's just like back at camp. No, but I know what you're saying. It's not something that I would have thought of.
Okay, it's something that warrants more of a look at, I guess.
It's something that to me warrants actually being thought about and being spoken about, and doesn't because he's been a bit dismissed by people online in the comments, going, this is just stupid. You're stupid. You suck, so. But I think
it's not stupid. It's just, to me, the fact that there's video games like the Reservoir Dogs game, which has just recently been refused classification in Australia, that allows you to do excessive torture to other people. Don't get me wrong, on one side of me is going, that sounds like a lot of fun, I want to get my hands on that game right away. The other side of me is going, I think that's a slightly larger issue than gollywogs being in a LocoRoco video game. Like,
I
just
know.
In terms of video game issues, that's got to be right down the bottom. Seriously, like,
it's not necessarily a video game issue; it's a social issue.
And more importantly, if you got to be worried about racial stereotypes, well, you look at a game like San Andreas.
But that's overt.
Yeah,
and it's far more human than just making people gollywogs. Like, it's far more. These are people and they have lives and they do things, and some of them are your friends and some of them are your enemies. They're not all the enemies. All the enemies are black men.
Alright, fair enough. You make a point. I actually don't care that much.
No, and that's fair enough. And you know what, to be honest, neither do I. And I'll still play the game and I'll still enjoy it, and I'll never for a second think, must kill the black men. But the point that the guy makes is probably kind of valid, and it might be something I'll chase up a bit and do a big feature article on.
I'm sure no one will pay attention to his article, though, and nothing will actually happen or come of it.
Oh, no. Because it's not pointing out something that should be fixed in LocoRoco.
Yeah.
It's pointing out a deep underlying social potential social problem that people don't think about. And you know what? Those things don't get fixed by a blog post.
No. That's pretty deep.
You're really tired, aren't you? If you think that's deep. All right. Yoke thinks racism is deep.
No.
So we're moving on to the next topic, which should probably be one of the two rumours.
Yeah, we're all about the facts. We're all about Australian game. Actually, you know what? This is pretty good that we're actually. Could you stop opening and closing your legs, by the way?
Do you want me to stop rubbing my crotch,
dude? It's just.
Actually, it feels kind of good. It's not bad. Hang on, nearly done. Yep, it's good now. Yeah, I don't smoke. Anyway, so
rumours, which is good actually, because usually we say things are facts when we should
or we just make them up.
We should always say rumours.
This is
well, look, there's the one about the Wii coming out in September.
Yes.
And what was the background behind this? Someone on.
The rumour was basically CNN.
No, it was
I'm getting confused.
It was some guy on CNN.
Yeah, it was CNN.
Actually, I read this on the forums. Actually, Oracle posted it. CNN Money's Chris Morris, who claimed to be citing an anonymous industry insiders, speculating that we could be playing on the Wii as soon as 8 weeks from now in September.
Yeah, there's some validity to the possibility. Nintendo will want to get it out reasonably early. They've said before that they'll get it out before the PS3, which is coming out on the 17th.
Before Thanksgiving is what
and
they
said.
Before
Thanksgiving. When is Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean, I know it was Independence Day the other day.
4th of July.
Because of the movie. But, yeah. I don't know. And the other thing is, to be completely honest, I mean, if they do launch in September, that's great. Because then it'll launch in April next year over in Australia, no doubt. So.
Well, haven't they said they're bringing it at the same time?
Yeah, well, so did Microsoft. Said they were doing a worldwide release at the same time. So.
Now you're little Mr. Cynical. I was the cynical one about it earlier.
Well, no, I'm. Yeah, I don't know. Just. Yeah, what are you doing?
Trying to find out when exactly Thanksgiving is.
Right. Okay. But yeah, I think it'd be good if it launched before. It'd be interesting if it launched before the PlayStation 3.
Well, they've said they will.
Oh.
The time that I've previously heard is November 6th. A magazine in the US.
Is that for the Wii?
Yeah.
Which is a couple of days before the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's about a week and a half before.
Okay.
The 4th Thursday in November. So if it's before
the end
Thanksgiving,
of November.
that's
sometime
the same
towards
time
the
as
end
the
of November.
PS3 comes out. So.
All right. Great.
So if it's going to come out then they don't really have much of a lead time on the PS3. But if they bought it out in September, there might be an awful lot of people going, yeah, I'll give it a go.
I just think it's kind of weird and funny that the PlayStation 3 isn't out yet, and it might be the last one out in this console wars. Even though I know that the Nintendo Wii isn't actually the same, it's not trying to compete. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it is. It's sort of thing.
I know. At the very least, it's a product in the same category. It's in the same market space at the same time.
That's right, and it's definitely something that will amount to.
It's competing in a different way, but it's still competing.
It is, because people will consider the fact that they will want to get a Wii as well. Like, take Oracle, for example, who, had to make a choice between a 360 or a Wii, which I don't think that still stands anymore.
You didn't have to have a choice between the 360 and a couch, though.
Well, not in the end, no.
You had no choice. Do you want to make the whoosh noise, or can I?
Go, you do it. Yes, indeed, under the thumb.
Yeah, there's a little thumbprint on his head. He's got a concave head.
But yeah, I mean, people think you're getting a PlayStation 3 who are interested in the Wii would actually think twice about getting a PlayStation 3.
Second think. Interesting. That actually makes perfect sense, which is disturbing.
in a weird yug sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just if it comes out early, I just feel that would undermine the PlayStation 3 even more than it already is at the moment. High price,
which is a very good reason that Nintendo would do that.
If
they can. If they can, I think they will. I don't think they can. That's pretty soon.
I don't know though. I mean, it's not like that. It's not like they exactly have, high priced hardware sort of thing. Hardware with all the latest. I mean, there are new technologies, but they're not exactly cutting edge Blu-ray.
But even so, they still have to build it. They still have to actually make.
True. And I don't know how difficult that is, or what the assembly or production line is in that respect.
I would think it would take us a fair bit of time.
I wouldn't be surprised if it actually launches in Japan in September, and then the rest of the world in November, or something like that.
Maybe even October. I actually think September, certainly not early September. I think that's a little early, but
I would not be surprised if they
October.
stagger the release slightly around the world.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be unreasonable. No. I think that would be quite fine. Great.
So yeah. The rumour is September. We'll believe it when we see it. We do like the idea, though. That would be cool, and it's not impossible, because as Yoke said, it's not the most cutting edge console. It's not like they have to try to get Blu-ray working on the thing.
I mean, the other thing is when the Wii comes out in Australia, it's weird. I've got this thought process about it, right? I'd love to get a Wii and a PlayStation 3, right? I would. I don't know if I will, but when I think about the Wii coming out, I think, that's great. As soon as it comes out, that's going to be an impulse buy. I'm going to just get my paycheck and buy that, and then just sort of have to try and live around that sort of thing.
Yeah. I know
the PlayStation 3 is not an impulse buy. That's I'm going to have
That's
to
an
take
investment.
out... Yeah, I'm going to actually have to try and plan that one, you know, like...
Yeah.
And that's going to make a big difference, I reckon. You know, that sort of...
It is.
difference in
It's the sort of
mentality
thing
and
a lot
thinking.
of people are going to do, but no one's going to just drop, you know, $1,000 on impulse just because it seems like a good idea. Hey, look at that, PS3's out.
And I mean,
I'll pick one up.
Look, when it comes to impulse buying, like, I'm pretty bad. I went to Coles the other day. I went food shopping, right? You know, I actually never go food shopping. My housemate said that she'd cook if I drove her to the Coles, and I said, yeah, okay, great, done. And I thought while I was there, I'll get some bread and cheese and ham and stuff. Picked up all this food.
Turned into a long, boring story
Shut
about
up.
ham.
Shut
Move
up.
on.
As I got to the checkout, you know, with my $20 worth of food,
Ham, yeah.
there was a remote control car sitting next to the checkout. I was the last one. It was marked down from $250 to $70. It's like this silver Lamborghini looking thing. And I bought it. I just thought that was funny. It was like, I didn't even really think about it. I'm like, I want that. That looks awesome. I'm in Coles buying food. I don't need a remote control car. I can't even drive it anywhere. I have no room to drive it or...
You can drive it a little bit outside on the balcony.
Yeah, until it crashes into the wall.
How'd that go?
It broke the front steering, actually.
Nice work.
So
you're dumb.
it now only turns right.
Awesome.
Which is fine, to be honest. But yeah. So, September, we'll see. And for the PlayStation 3, we'll see if it's a worldwide release as well, for that matter. So, yeah. What's the last rumour that we have on the books?
The last bit of rumour is PSP related as well, which is that apparently Sony magazine, PSM magazine in the United States, UK, I think.
Yeah. That's right. I read a story saying that they had an inside source confirmed that Final Fantasy VII was going to be one of the ported games on the PSP. Is that
Final
right?
Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, Castlevania, and a bunch of others as well.
Really?
Quite a good list of games coming. And that by the end of 2007, they hope to have 7,000 games available for download. 7,000 is a lot of games. It's a big number.
When you say available for download, is this available on the PlayStation 3 Marketplace download, or is this just going to be is this going to be available to anyone on the net that doesn't have a PlayStation 3?
No, it's a PSP, dude. PSP games.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
I don't know what Sony's marketing distribution system for this is.
Listen to me here for a second.
I did. You annoyed me.
They're trying to integrate this online system similar to Xbox Live on the PlayStation 3, right?
Yes.
They're not gonna. I can't imagine them allowing people to access that network from their computers.
Probably not.
Right. So the only way to actually get these games.
No.
Okay.
A PSP is completely capable of downloading the game itself.
Yeah. From where? That's what I'm saying.
From the internet.
Yes. You're not listening to me. From what I saw at the E3, their demo conference sort of thing,
yes,
you download the game from the Sony PlayStation 3,
which lives on
live.
the internet.
Yes, Matt.
My point is, there's no reason the PSP could not connect to the same marketplace directly.
Okay.
It wouldn't necessarily have to go through the PS3 to do it.
Okay, it was just something because, like, Xbox Live is theoretically available from the internet, but it's not.
No. You need an Xbox.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. The PlayStation, I can't remember what it's called now, Live Connect or whatever it's called, would be a similar network that I would imagine would not have an internet website presence in the same respect.
No. But they would have a PSP.
Maybe.
Connection.
That's what I'm saying. They might not. It might be only the kind of thing which you can only put onto your PSP if you have a PlayStation 3, if you are subscribed to that service through your PlayStation 3.
I suspect they'll let you do it through the PSP directly.
I hope so, but I got that impression from the conference.
I mean, neither you nor I know their long-term online strategy.
Anyway, look, the thing that bothers me about that whole rumour is, you know, Ridge Racer is one thing. You know, that's like 20... Well, I don't know how big that'd be, but it can't be that big compared to Final Goddamn Fantasy VII, which
that was
like
why
how
I
many
was-
CDs?
It was 3 CDs, I think.
CDs or DVD? It was CDs. wasn't it,
CDs,
back then?
yeah.
Yeah, it was 3 CDs.
I wanted to point out a couple of quick
Alright,
things.
sorry, yep.
First of all, 3 CDs, but they weren't necessarily full. I don't know how full each of them was, but for example, the last one I think was only about half full.
Yeah.
Regardless, what resolution was Final Fantasy in? Because most of the size of it would have been cutscenes and background images.
Yeah.
If it was at 640 by 480, the PSP's resolution is about a quarter of that, therefore about a quarter of the actual size for those movies and images.
Actually,
I don't know whether it was or whether it was at 320 by 2
I'm fairly
something.
sure that the resolution of the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, was 320 by 240.
No, it could be higher. It could be
It
that
could be higher,
or
but
640
I'm
by
pretty
480.
sure it was 640 by 480. The reason I say that is because I remember looking into it, because I actually played Final Fantasy VII on the PC. I actually
Yes.
had the PC port of it.
Yes.
And the difference in and that was actually a port of the PlayStation game onto the
Yes.
PC. And the graphics were, you could actually up the graphics to high resolution graphics, which upped them to 640 by 480.
Right. So it is entirely possible that it was just at 320 by.
I think so.
240
I think
anyway.
that was most of the standard stuff back then, actually, for that generation.
Yeah, a lot of it was, but the one reason why it might not be is because it was static images. Most of
They
it
were
was
background
static.
images.
So it's possible that because only a small amount of it was actually 3D, it might have been at a higher resolution.
I think.
And the higher resolution, for example, it might have been 640 by 480 background images with.
Okay, but I was. Hurry up.
It might have been 640 by 480 background images with a 320 by 2 whatever thing walking over the top of it.
Yeah, alright, but I think you might be slightly missing the point, which is I don't think any developers are going to go back and recompile their games for the PSP. Most of them are going to be, they're going to be existing games that, I mean, any emulators that you play online are games that you actually get for emulators, which are entirely and very illegal, might I just add.
And we don't condone them,
Absolutely
but we'll
not.
give you a download link on
Yep.
the site.
No one's recompiled the games or anything like that. They've just copied the original code and they've allowed people to play them through emulated systems and stuff like that. I think it'll be the same concept. I don't think people are I don't think Square is going to go back through and recompile or change certain aspects about the Final Fantasy VII code. They're just going to go, yeah, there's the game.
How do you know?
Because
wait. They will do what makes money.
there's no money.
If it is going to make money, if it does make money, they're not free downloads. These are paid downloads. You will be buying this game.
Okay.
This is not a gift from Square to you.
Okay,
This
good
is
point.
a product, and it might well be a very successful product. And because all I'm talking about is background art and images, hell, I could shrink them. To simply reduce the resolution of the existing art is not a huge deal.
Alright. Sorry. Let me take this back a step then. Whoop-de-fucking-do, it's still going to be friggin' huge.
You've got to bleep that. What? You've got to bleep friggin'.
Whoop-de-friggin'-do.
Yeah. That offends our listeners.
Offends you.
Good comeback.
Yeah, look, it's still going to be huge. I mean, I'm still adverse to the concept that you have to buy a 2 gig memory stick to go along with your PSP. And if you have to get, if you want to get Final Fantasy VII and you want to download it, I really don't care how much you compress these images. You're not going to get it down below at least 500 meg.
No, I'm thinking 500 meg is probably about the smallest you'd get it, even if they are already at a higher resolution and can be reduced. But the PlayStation version was on 3 discs.
Yes.
Maybe they could do the same sort of thing. Break it into 2 sections or 3 sections, and for example, if it was bought through
so then when you want to continue playing, you have to download the next section and delete your previous one.
No, you would just connect it up to your
on your computer, right?
No, not your computer, but your PS3 maybe.
Oh, so now you need a PS3.
No, I'm saying that potentially there are ways that it could be done. That means that, yes, you're right, the size of them would be a factor.
Yep.
But it's certainly not a killer. If there's money in it, if there's a reason to do it, I'm saying that it is entirely viable to do.
Yes.
To have, for example...
Look, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I really like the idea. I would actually be more interested these days in buying a PSP to actually replay through Final Fantasy VII on the PSP than playing through most of the recent PSP games.
Yeah, and...
Seriously, that actually really appeals to me because there were a lot of things in Final Fantasy VII that I never actually explored, or a lot of aspects that I really wanted to do, but I just
about racing.
Ended up, stuff like that. I just ended up finishing the game. I'd love to go back to it, but I can't go back to it on a PlayStation because I don't have one, or the PC because it just looks crap. But on PSP, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me that for like these thousands and thousands of games which might be available to purchase and download and stuff like that, they really need to sort out their storage devices a lot better than what they already have. The whole memory stick thing.
Well, you can get a 2 gig memory stick now for like $140.
Really?
Yeah, they're a lot cheaper than they used to be.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So they're not unreasonable, and if something is, say, 500 gig, sorry, 500 gig, that's pretty big, 500 meg, that's not unreasonable. And especially if they're going to break it into maybe 2 or 3 bits, you've got 200 meg on there, that's not really too bad.
No, fair enough. Cool. Alright, well, I think that's all we've got time for this evening.
There is one more thing we have time for.
Quick.
My friend Alice at work bought a PSP today, and I don't know if she listens to the podcast. I know she reads the site. And I just wanted to say hello. Hello, Alice. I hope you're enjoying LocoRoco.
Did you just do a shout out?
I did do a shout out. I know. To my homie.
Your homie.
Yes.
Anyway. Don't ever say that word ever again. It just does not suit you.
No, I'm really not.
With the whole ethnic things that was happening at the beginning, don't say homie ever again. Especially considering we live in the valley.
Yes.
What's
the relevance of that?
Because you'll get beat up. Actually, you know what? You'll get beat up even if you don't say, yo,
true.
homie, how you doing?
I might as well say, homie, hello, like.
Yeah, why not? Give them at least a half decent reason.
With all the gay bashings happening, I'm probably going to get bashed by a gay guy.
Probably.
He's a straight. Get him.
Alright, thanks everyone for tuning in. We will talk to you next week.
No, we won't.
We won't.
I'm done with this. I'm sick of the abuse.
You're going to quit. You're sick of the abuse.
Yeah.
You're sick of the abuse.
I'm sick of the abuse.
What abuse do I give you? None. What abuse do I get? Your constant abuse.
You're passive aggressive.
Screw you. See ya.